Hey Summoners, welcome back to another ProGuides video. Iron Maiden is coming to League, and I'm not talking about the band. I'm Nathan Ng, and today we'll be talking about the most recent reveal of the newest champion, RELL. She's an angry, powerful, and quite destructive teenager who you just don't really want to mess with. Kind of like any teenager, honestly. Believe it or not, she's also the first true tank support release since Braum. It'll be nice to have someone that can literally shred the armor and magic resistance of every Sunfire tank in the meta. Before we dive into the details, our question of the day is, from which region of Runeterra do you want to see the next champion? Personally, I cannot wait to see another Yordle from Bandle City. There's something hilarious about being so strong yet so small. Let us know in the comments what you're most excited about. Let's go ahead and talk about RELL and what her release means for the universe of Runeterra. She was born and raised in Noxus, where strength is more important than anything. If you aren't strong, you're weak, and that means you're not worthy. Strength, however, comes in many forms. Tacticians, warriors, even zombified monstrosities, they all have their purpose. The way Noxus handles magic is particularly different from the other regions, since they'll do anything to turn that magic into a weapon. That's exactly what's going on with RELL until she decided to break free. RELL uses Ferromancy, meaning that she can bend and control metal. This is the first time that we've had a metal bender in League, with the closest thing being Talia with her earth bending. A power like hers is powerful on its own, but if amplified, she becomes a perfect weapon to stop someone like Mordekaiser, who is, well, literally made of metal. With enough strength, RELL could probably wipe out armies on her own, or at least stop them from wearing armor, which is pretty OP in its own right. So, what did her teachers do after she was sent to school to learn about how to control her magic? They made her train against students and friends. Not too weird, right? Well, Noxian mages are good at taking magic from someone and putting it into another. That's what they started doing with RELL, nullifying the magic and emotions from her classmates and giving it to her. When RELL found out the truth behind everything, she was mad. Like, really, really mad. So mad, in fact, that she decided to literally tear down the school and every authority figure that she'd ever known, including her adopted mother. Maybe they shouldn't have built the school out of metal. I don't know. Now, RELL is set on helping anyone who's a victim of the Black Rose Academy. Yep, you heard that right. LeBlanc is working behind the scenes to help create the strongest magic users in Noxus. But RELL is now a huge threat to Noxus, which certainly spices things up a little bit. I think one of the coolest parts about RELL's background is how different it is with the way that Demacia handles magic. While Noxus literally sacrifices the magic in students to make one super powerful mage, Demacia locks away any magic that they see. Both had their own jailbreaks. Noxus had RELL, and Demacia had Silas. I wonder what would happen if those two met up. Thankfully, RELL isn't the type of champion to one-shot your ADC. Riot mentioned in their Champion Insights post that it's meant to be a very dark and tanky support. Braum and Alistar aren't killing you like Leona, meaning that they're meant to survive and disrupt enemies. How do you guys feel about RELL and her design? As for the darker lore and background, I think they did a pretty good job with the story. Personally, I would have liked to see a little bit more armor, or even fully suited armor. There aren't a lot of champions like that, but it makes sense. It's a little bit hard to market a faceless knight. Now that we have gone over everything that brought RELL to where she is now, let's go ahead and talk about the best part of the champion, the gameplay. RELL's passive is called Break the Mold. Her auto attacks are slower than usual, think Senna but a melee champion. Whenever she autos a target, she'll steal a portion of their armor and magic resist. This also stacks, so if you manage to auto Amumu and Leona in a team fight, you'll be tankier than both of them for a short time. Her Q's ability is called Shattering Strike. RELL pokes forward with her lance, damaging and breaking shields on enemies that she hits. If she has an ally bound with her E ability, she heals both herself and her ally. The skill does a lot of things, offering not only sustain but the potential to break through those annoying Janna and Lulu shields. Timing this ability right will be huge. Imagine landing a team-wide Q after the enemy has used their locket. Also wonder if this could break Morgana's shield, because that could be pretty big as well. RELL's W ability has two different parts. You'll notice that she has two different forms, one with her riding a horse and the other one where she's walking on the ground. Your W is used to switch between the two forms. You start the game off in your mounted form, where you'll have roughly the same movement speed as the other champions. When you use your W, you'll jump into the air and land in a targeted area, knocking up all enemies and giving yourself a huge shield. This puts you into armored form. While jumping, you can use your E and R abilities, but more on that later. After landing, you'll keep your shield until it is destroyed or you remount. While in the armored form, your movement speed is way slower, but you have extra durability to make up for it. Using your W in this form will make you rush forward, losing your shield and regaining your horse. Your next attack during this time will flip over enemies hit, kind of like a mini Senjdi. This ability has a lot going on, adding a lot of depth to RELL's kit. There's a decently long cooldown between your W recasts, around 10 seconds at level 1. This means that when you jump into a fight, you're kind of stuck there for a little bit. Luckily, you're really tanky in your armored form. Pair that with your passive and you might be as tanky as Alistar when he ultimates. RELL's E's ability is called the Track and Repel. She picks an ally, think Tarek's W, and grants some bonus armor and magic resistance while you're near one another. If you use this ability again while bound, you'll stun enemies around and between both of you. It's kind of like Irelia's stun, except you're both champions instead of those little blade connecting thingies. Her ultimate is called Magnet Storm. RELL summons a storm around her that pulls enemies for a few seconds. Champions stuck in the storm can still use abilities, so it isn't as powerful as a suppression. RELL's kit is pretty simple on paper, with some cool new interactions that reinvent old abilities. The depth of the character comes from how well you can use everything together. Literally, all of your abilities can affect multiple champions at once. This means that you'll need to think quickly and decide how to land that 5-man knockup and stun. I think we'll see a lot of R and W combos, pulling in enemies while in the air and then knocking them up. Think of like a Rakan's R and W combo. However, if you miss your abilities, you're kind of left hanging around the ground until you can cast your W again. Personally, I'm really excited to see a tanky champion that will most likely not be killing everyone around them. RELL's damage numbers aren't that high, and her scalings are mostly paired with armor and magic resist. She definitely seems like a well-designed support champion, one that can lead the engage or heavily peel her carries. With how strong tanks are during the preseason, RELL has to be a strong choice. She's like Trundle, but way tankier and less ultimate reliant. I think she'll have some interesting matchups in the bot lane as well, especially when it comes to other tank supports. If you manage to steal stats while your opponent has Aftershock, it'll be impossible to trade against you for a few seconds. In the bot lane, I think RELL will work with most ADCs. Kind of like Braum, she can play aggressively or defensively depending on who she's working with. She's also able to engage and control fights almost entirely on her own, which means that you won't have to land a crazy hook in order to start a fight. You can pop your ultimate and jump into the fray like Malphite, or save all of your CC in order to peel the Zed right off your enemy ADC. Versatility is what makes champions like Thresh so good. That pretty much wraps up our recap for RELL's reveal. We hope that you're excited as we are to see everyone instant locker and champ select or instant banner so no one else gets to have fun. Remember to answer our question of the day in the comments down below. If you're looking forward to more information about champions, skins, patch notes, and more, subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching, good luck on the Rift, and remember to wash your hands, stay safe, stay healthy, and have a wonderful day. Peace.